We're here for a regular meeting. We're going to stand for a moment of silence, followed by the pledge. Thank you. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Mayor Patrick?
Here.
Mr. Pollock?
Here.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Key?
Here. Thank you, ma'am. Citizens' comments? Are there any? Are there any citizens?
Not unless you want me to start talking.
No, we're fast on that. All right, we'll close the citizens' comments. Move on to department report. Obviously, we will have Miss Debbie on the phone after this meeting. Sandy?
Morning, everybody.
Morning.
If you remember, we talked about the line launcher that I got a grant for, a 50% grant for. That grant then became a 100% grant thanks to Four Seasons Disaster Relief, who gave us the second match. So we now have in our possession this line launcher, which I've been training with the fire department with. It's capable of throwing a line between 250 and 300 feet to a potential victim in the water. So once that is being fully trained and is ready for operation, we're going to put it into our squad. I'm looking at the possibility of getting the second one, which again, hopefully, if I play my cards right, won't cost the city a penny. And also, the Sheriff's Office is looking at the possibility of getting one for themselves as well. This is really just a case to be prepared for the worst. We hope it never ever happens. We don't even really want to talk about that side of it, but it's better to be prepared than not be prepared. And at the fact that we were able to sort it out without it costing us anything other than a bit of time and effort, it's all for the good of the city and those that visit us. Other than that, we're doing our usual maintenance in regards to our water system right now. We're back re-whacking our hydrants because all of that rain has made all the grass grow and so on and so forth. Working alongside Kevin in water department, getting all that squared away. And business is basically as usual, training and answering calls when necessary. Has anybody got any questions?
Thank you, sir. Lieutenant, what you got?
Well, after Martin took care of everything last meeting and everything, I really don't have a whole lot of that. But other than the square grouper rolling up on the beach there the other day behind the driftwood, 30 keys of it in one bundle. I think the total cost on it was about 1.5 million is what washed up in one bundle of cocaine on the beach. And that was about it. They've been washing up on Cape San Blas, West End of beaches and stuff like that, but we got a full size bundle of it down there. Fisherman was fishing in the water, bumped into his leg, he thought he'd been got. And then drug it up on the beach and gave us a call. But other than that, we haven't had any more. We've been vigilant and we're riding up down the beaches to make sure nobody gets anything that they can't handle and take care of business.
Okay, thank you. If you have to warn us, you're going to send Martin again.
He got a standing ovation.
He did. I'm just saying we're just warned. Need to lie a little more time. Thank you. Any questions? You let him know, I mean that constructively now. I don't want to be on the I'm not only going to get on his bad side. All right. Gina, any reports this morning?
Still a little slow in the building department. We've had 7 new residential homes since the last meeting, and we have nothing on the agenda for August for planning and zoning. So that's the first time this year. So, yeah.
Wow. I guess people learn to live within the rules. They don't have to ask for variance.
Plus, we made all those changes.
Made those
so they don't
changes,
need to have variance.
which
we don't
is
need to do lots of
Right.
splits.
Well, that was the goal, you know, to cut down on that. So.
Yeah.
Had 7 residentials?
7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. How do you count a triplex? That's 3 or
It
1?
depends. If it's permitted, it's either permitted as a commercial structure if it's under one ownership, or if it's 3 separate owners, it's 3 separate.
Three,
units.
okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right, thank you very much. Kathy?
Been sending out some citations to get some lots that are cleared where the weeds are overgrowing and the grass is getting a little bit too high. And also sending out notices to people who are camping now in their driveway again. That's kind of increased a little bit. Also had a report from Public Works. They need some help over on the Canal Parkway. Somebody's letting their dog just run loose, and it's using the restrooms and all the weeds. And when they go to weed whack, it all flies all over. So they just wanted to make sure everybody understands we do have a leash law. So we're just trying to keep that down. And over the weekend, we made a little over $700 just on Saturday and Sunday over at the boat launch. So everybody's been doing great on paying their launching fees.
Great. Any questions? Okay, later on, I see it on our agenda, we've got an item for, it's really a code issue that we've been talking about, so I'll save my, we'll get to that. Okay, Tommy, thank you, Kathy.
Good morning, Mayor Swanson. Update on our electrical at the canal. Duke Energy placed the poles yesterday and done the drops. I contacted Charlie with Current Solutions. We're fixing he'll be in tomorrow to get the rest of his stuff run to those. Then it's just a matter of getting them inspected and the meter put back in, and we should have power probably by the end of the week on our boat slips. So we're where we're going to be with that. Also, we completed the stormwater work on 33rd Street for Jason. I think we pretty much alleviated most of his problem. We really won't know until we have a good rain, but he seemed real satisfied, and I appreciate the public works guys that went down there. They done an excellent job on that. Give you an update on the street signs. We received part of the order of the street signs this past week. We have them here. We're waiting on the street names now. Vulcan said they were running a little behind getting those because of the pandemic stuff, but she assured me that we should have those within a week or so. So we're getting very close to getting started on putting all the street signs back up throughout the city. Of course, cutting grass as usual. Done some work filling in the road shoulder down at 29th Street there where the pizza place is. We had a pretty bad place there. We took care of that. Installed some parking signs for Kimberly down at the CDC. Sanitation report, so far this month we picked up 312,720 pounds of trash. So far that's the most this year. Of course, July is one of the biggest months anyway. And we got number 8 garbage truck repaired and back in service, so that's a big help. I would like to take a minute to just kind of everybody's listening through Facebook. People is putting refrigerators, grills, stuff like that beside the road. The city does not pick that stuff up anymore. The only thing the city picks up is just yard waste, grass cutting, palm limbs, stuff like that. So if you've got anything like that, mattresses, the city is not going to come by and pick that up. You're going to have to get rid of that yourself. So we're getting a lot of people, I guess, maybe just doesn't know, used to several years ago.
We'll put it on Facebook and the website.
Yeah, we did.
Where do they go? Where do they go?
2 places, Mayor. They can go to 5 Point before they go, or they can go over to Steel Field where we actually take our trash up on 79. So, any questions? That's all I have.
Thank you, Tom. Appreciate it. Kevin?
They're going pretty good, going installation, water leaks. We have a force main break about a month ago. About that month. We got that repaired. We will be sending a bill out for that. It was caused by a bore. They were instructed to go 7 feet deep, and he decided to come up 5 and get the main. So, other than that, everything's going pretty good. Just staying busy.
Did he accept that responsibility?
Sir?
Did he accept that responsibility of?
I'm not sure yet. We got the bill getting typed up, we're gonna send it out.
But we talked to them.
I did talk to him on site, yes, couldn't get it. And we did have one little issue at the water plant, Lightning took out number 2 pump panel. I just talked to the electrician, hope we can get a part in here soon. He's supposed to be sending me all particular through email. Worst case scenario, it wound up being several thousands of dollars to replace that component in there. But we're waiting to see what happens. If you get a part they think that might have got hit, it'll be less money. If not, it's going to be up there. Another
Do
thing?
we have any insurance coverage?
I don't know that insurance would cover that. That is probably way below our deductible. Again, until we know what the cost
In
is.
them boxes, this post book, it should have a safety thing, like this track, it should pop it first.
Like a safety.
Like a safety fuse, and then it goes into the, if it don't, if it bypasses it, then it gets like the starters and the capacitors and all that, that's where you're talking about the money. But it should go through a little breaker that, should.
Yeah, it's the driver or something they're hoping didn't go out. That's what's going to be the expensive part.
That's right.
Okay. But we got them checking on it.
Yes.
All right, any questions for utilities? Thank you, Kevin. David?
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Board.
We had a bid opening for Sunset Park last week. We have some on the agenda further down. On the permitting side, I had a call, myself and the architect got a call with FWC yesterday. They were wanting to discuss the lights on the pavilion and make sure we're not drawing any sea turtles away from the beach. So what they've agreed to let us do is basically, it's going to be 6 lights on the pavilion. They're going to be low 10-watt amber colored lights. So at night it won't be very well lit. I don't know how much light that's going to put out, but that's what they would allow us to do. And then some step lights at the stairs and ramps. So once the architect gets that plan back over to FWC for final review and approval, we should be good with the DEP to get the final order and send us down for get ready to start construction.
Okay. How many lights you said?
There's going to be 6 post-mounted lights. So there'll be 6 foot or so on the post on the inside, and they're 10 watts and they're amber color.
Yeah. Okay.
Not like a night light.
Well, I mean, that, nothing you can do. I mean, you can't, that's what it is. Okay, any other thing, anything else? That's it, okay. All right, we'll move things there. I'm glad you, well, I've been trying to decide, did you get it?
No.
Okay. Well, I won't feel bad when I swat it down here. I've been thinking about how much lower that would be.
You don't want to land on me.
All right, everybody wait. All right. Charity's still down. All right, moving on to our regular agenda. Number 1 is the Sunset Park contract. We all have the paperwork. And everyone's seen that. This was, I don't know how many bidders we had.
We received 5 bids. One bid came in at 2.4. One bid came in at 1.8. 2 bids at 1.6, and then this one at roughly 1.4.
And as we said, this is a FEMA reimbursable project.
Yes, sir. And this is a standard
Standard lane
project,
project,
which is completely different from most all the other projects that we've done that we've had and agreed upon price, and we had to meet that price. With the standard lane project, FEMA covers the cost as long as it's the same as the original scope plus codes and standards. So when you look at the codes and standards for this, one of the items that is rather interesting is if you look at the DEP requirements for landscape,
I did, I had some questions, but you probably fixed to answer them.
That DEP requirement is $43,000. If it's a code, if it is a code requirement, FEMA will cover the cost. So that $40,000 should be covered. We have a $50,000 grant from FDOT to provide landscape. We have a $50,000 donation from Ms. McIntosh that covers some costs, and then the balance of the dollars should be covered through FEMA standard lane. The building itself, just as a standalone, is $690,000. There's a good bit of work on the site. There's a good bit of fill that got washed out when the hurricane blew through. So there's currently $153,000 in sand fill. We may be able to reduce that some because I'm sure that everybody was just bidding this as though they have to find some place to provide beach quality sand and import it. We will work with the contractor, provide them the beach quality sand, and then they'll have to basically change this to what it costs them to haul it from point A to point B. So there are some little value.
There's some deducts there that we can.
One note about the resolution in the packet, it says that Exhibit A is the contract. I believe, unless your packets today are different, you got documents from the bidding and from the pricing. It's not actually a contract, but the contract is, as far as I know, it was prepared by Dewberry as part of the bidding package, and it's available, and that's what would be included as Exhibit A.
Do we have water there where we can irrigate already?
Yes, sir. There's water already at the location based on the old park, so we'll be tapping into that.
There's a lot of landscaping stuff here, notice. About the fencing and I mean, it's tens of thousands of dollars.
Well, there's a lot of money in over-designed stuff too. And, did we tell them there was any kind of budget? Did we give them a dollar figure to try and hit? Like we just talked about we were gonna do last time that they got the welcome center. So where we bid?
This is a standard lane project. So
I understand that, that's not what I asked you on.
I didn't, no sir, I did not give them a budget.
Okay, like we instructed you to do last time.
No sir, I did not.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying, I don't care if it's being paid for by the federal government or the state government, we should act responsibly and try to cut the cost any way we can. And I've looked at those plans with a contractor, and there's stuff in there that could be cut out and done more cost efficient. And any way we save our federal government or our state government or our city government money is what our responsibility should be. And so I'm disappointed that we didn't give any kind of guidelines. Is there any way that we can go back with a contract, Nick, and ask the contractor to look at it and make suggestions on ways to save money?
You could value engineer some of this. You don't want to change it so much that it doesn't resemble what we did, but you certainly could remove some items and cut the cost.
Well, there's certain things like posts coming up to hold the walkways up. And those posts in, and then you got rails right on top of them with posts. Those posts could be continued on up. There's other ways. Even the floor of the whole building could be done on pilings. And instead of coming up pilings and then capping that off and going up again, could be done. And that's a lot less expensive. There's, double-sided beadboard on the top. That's incredibly expensive material, and it could have been done with other materials. I'm just saying, I'm disappointed that it's this much money. I think it's wasting some money. And if you look to what we had prior, we're spending $1.4 million on something that probably was built for $120 million. So I'm just disappointed. That's all I'm saying.
Is this inside the
This is inside
coastal construction line?
This is inside the coastal construction line, which means it also has to be designed for wave action, which is part of the reason that the foundation system is the way that it is. And the engineer is taking responsibility for the design. I did ask them to go to a monolithic pole from the very bottom up to the very top of the beam, and they did not agree with that concept.
Okay. Any other comments? All right, on our agenda is we bid the project. We have before us the lowest bid. And if council is ready, we will either discuss, ask questions, or have a motion to accept resolution 2130.
Make a motion to read resolution 21-30 by title only.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please read.
Resolution 2130, a resolution of the City of Mexico Beach, Florida, approving a contract with Vonnegut Construction, LLC, not to exceed $1,390,222 for Sunset Park renovations.
Thank you. Is there a motion to adopt? Approve.
Make a motion we approve resolution 21-30.
I second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further comments? Call the roll, please.
Mayor Kathy,
Yes.
Mr. Pollak,
Yes.
Mr. Smith,
No.
Ms. Call,
Yes.
Mr. Key.
No. Okay, let the record reflect. Motion carries 3-2. All right, moving to 21-31. Another resolution. This is the one to deal with the special masters on the two properties that we wanted to see what we could get a clear for. I think before we read this, we have a motion to read it. Where would these funds come from? They come out of our quote, general
Come
fund.
out of our general fund.
I don't know why it's got to do that.
I do have good news.
Okay, go ahead.
The person that we served the letters to for the first time accepted the letters. My understanding for the reason then not accepting the letters is that one person is infirm and the other person is a military person that is overseas. So those were the reasons for not having received the letters in the past. The person that received the letter is one of the family members. She called yesterday or the day before, I can't remember, and basically said that that they're having problems with insurance. That's the reason they haven't done anything, so on and so on and so on. They said the price was too exorbitant to tear the building down. And once I got her to slow down a little bit, I mentioned to her that we had gotten bids, so we publicly advertised according to our charter. We received a bid that was as low as $14,903 to tear both buildings down. And as soon as she heard that, she says, we'll agree to that. So the good news is she's agreeable to that dollar.
Which property?
Both.
Oh.
Both are owned by the same family.
Yes. Oh, I misunderstood you. Okay.
So her being willing to accept both and also very reluctant for us to put a lien on the property, because if we put a lien on the property, it's a mark against the person that works for the armed forces. So I'm sure that they will be more than willing to help us figure out how to make this payment. In the meantime, we will probably pay it and then invoice them. Again, the way that we're set up through our charter and our code of ordinances, we wouldn't actually put a lien. I believe what we do is we would put it on the tax roll, and they could in turn just pay it through the tax roll.
You usually do both. The putting a lien on is really to just set up priority in case there are other interests against the property. But the more important process for us would be the tax roll, because it's an easier collection method. We don't need to do the lien. It's really just a matter of setting the priority if there are other interests that are going to claim against the property. One note about the assessment approach. Those processes probably would need to already be in place, happening right now, make it this year's roll. So we're probably looking at next year. It's not a guarantee. We can always contact the county offices in charge of that and see if there's still time. But
But if they're willing to pay it, then we might not have to go to that level.
Sure.
If we don't lien it, can we lien it later if they refuse to pay?
Yes. Yes.
So there's a little bit of leverage.
And there's certainly room to negotiate if they can pay part of it, and pay the rest later, or something along those lines.
What we just asked them to send us a check.
Yeah.
I mean, why get into negotiating? We sat here for,
Well, that's a
3 years.
great option. I wasn't aware that they could do it all at once.
Well, I don't know that they can do it. They're in litigation with their insurance company. They don't have the funds. So they'd have to get a loan to pay for the funds. They said that they'd be willing to pay for the funds. They just don't know how they're going to get a hold of the funds.
She's a lieutenant colonel in the army.
all right, so help me, guys. So if we move forward, what's on our agenda?
Yeah, we demolished the
We
building.
demolish the building. That puts us out to $14,600. So we just call them and say, hey, we're out to 14,000. When you gonna pay us? I mean, I don't like that. What's our plan?
We put it on their tax roll. I mean, that's the plan. It'd be nice if we didn't have to get to that point. Once we receive the bill, I would send the bill to them and say, please remit this to the city. And if you don't remit this to the city, we will put it on the tax roll.
And we can give them a deadline.
Yeah, give them a deadline.
You could always, I mean, if they're gonna potentially go borrow money anyways, you could set up a payment plan with the city, $1,000 a month until it's paid off, something like that. It's just something to talk to them about, negotiate.
I guess go ahead.
How many of these have we got that potentially would come up, because we're gonna set a precedent?
I'm trying to think, help me, Kathy, after these two, how many others are laying out there?
Well, we still have God's house over there on.
That's a FEMA project.
Yeah.
That's a FEMA project.
That's on the FEMA list, but that could be, I mean, I don't even know what to say anymore about the FEMA list. It's on the FEMA list. There, that's all I know.
Yeah, well,
Well, we got.
But then after that one, after God's house, what else?
Well, there's the one over on by 15th and Hatley, right there at the corner. The one sister just passed away. The other sister came in one day last week and said she's updated the information. It was updated on Bay County Property Appraiser, and she was saying something about maybe selling the property, but she said right now we're dealing with the death of her sister.
What about 19th and 98? Or 20th?
I got an email from
21st
them.
and 98.
I got an email from them last week, 2 weeks ago. And she said they're still working with their insurance and just more excuses.
because that used to be the little shop.
Yeah. That's the one literally right straight up the road.
Hadn't been touched.
Okay.
And I told her, I talked to her and her husband, and I said, you know, the place looks a mess. I said, we've got a condo over on 37th Street. I said, they basically wrapped that in plastic in order to keep people out and stuff going on. I said, but your place looks a mess. I said, you need to come over here and start.
And working with I thought working with the insurance was something that wasn't an acceptable verbal. I thought we were saying, okay, show us what you're doing. I mean, that working with our insurance can go on forever. All right, so
So there's a few more.
there's, you know, I guess, Jack Farrell's house hadn't been touched, down at 24th and Ward.
Yeah, you got Pier Road, you got the one on Miramar. You got several.
Yeah, well, that one on Miramar,
It's all in insurance, waiting on insurance. I talked to Kenneth Strawby, he's the one that owns the one that Harris can't pull up, tear down because Strawby's attached, and now he says he's gonna have to file a suit against his insurance company.
okay, so there's, I don't know,
So we'll,
5 or 6 more.
by this one here, we'll set a precedent of what we'll agree to do. So we just need to be careful of what precedent.
Well, I think we went into it thinking we were gonna file a tax on it.
Yeah, right.
So if we follow that path and these people pay, that's great.
Right.
And I like Marl said, in the letter, here's what it takes to avoid a tax lien.
Well, and one thing, like Bobby said, you know, give them a deadline. And if that deadline's not met for paying it, then let them know that we will be leaning at that point. And
Sure, yeah, that's fair,
so-
that's fair, sure.
What do we think the deadline should be, Bobby?
I say 3 months,
I say 30 days.
you know, after being torn down. You know, they give them plenty of time to do whatever they got to do.
I think that you need a short fuse, so that would be as long as I want to go, would be 3 months. Because, you know, just like the one sister's dealing with the death, 3 months is gonna give her enough time to deal with the death and then get it on the market and make some kind of progress. So I think that would be a precedent, as long as we go past 3 months. And then with the,
We've been 2.5 years.
yeah.
I think it's time.
Right.
I mean, delaying this fuse is look what we did. We couldn't get in touch with this lady for 2.5 years, and all of a sudden, she reaches out to us.
Because we're fixing to spend money.
Yeah, so I think that's what they wait at, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That's what most of them waiting on for us to start to do something, and then it's come. I'd say
That's a lot.
let's go. Let's go with it.
That's logical.
And
Let's do this. Let's take care of this agenda item, and then before we leave it, to give Mario some direction, we'll talk about the dates. How's that? All right, right now is to accept the bid from, what was that company?
Rogers Brothers.
Yeah, Rogers Brothers, out of Bristol. All right, so do I have a motion to read Resolution 21-30 by title only? Or did we do that already?
No, that's 31.
I make a motion, we read resolution 21-31 by title only.
Second.
Have a motion second, please read.
Resolution 2131, a resolution of the City of Mexico Beach, Florida, approving a contract with Rogers Brothers Land Clearing, LLC, not to exceed $14,903.12 for demolition at 203 Louisiana Drive and 515 Maryland Boulevard.
Is there a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve resolution 21-31.
Second.
Have a motion and a second, call the roll, please.
Mayor Packard?
Yes.
Mr. Pollock?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Call?
Yes.
Mr. Key?
Yes.
Okay, now, just more for, repeat ourselves, we're going to issue the contract, they're gonna be gone, we're gonna pay the $14,600. Like that, excuse me? 900, excuse me. Then Mario's going to send these folks a letter, letting them know that the property's there, and in the letter, we've heard different ones, I'm gonna throw out 45 days to avoid a tax lien.
Kind of splits the difference, though.
Well, y'all do that a lot, so I thought I'd try and see how it works.
I'm still on 30.
I know you are. I didn't look
We've
at
been
you.
waiting, I mean, it's not anything new.
2.5 years. Damn, that's too
So
slow.
let me clarify the liens. There's two types of lien type things we're looking at. The tax assessment is not a regular lien, and that would, based on the timing of the tax bills, probably not happen until next year's taxes, because there's so much occurring right now with valuations and billing the budget. We might be able to slip it in, but probably not. The lien that could be filed immediately is just recording the order on the violation and the demolition of the public record. The purpose of recording that soon is if there's some other lien against the property, some contractors doing work or something. You always want to be first in line. But as far as the tax part, the tax assessment, most likely that's 8 months away, 9 months away before we actually go through the process to make that occur.
So we could reverse it. Why don't we just reverse it and say you got 45 days or whatever days we're going to put on it before you get lien, and then we'll be filing the tax lien as well, or the tax.
That's fine. And then you were concerned about precedent. This one, it sounds like the owners are willing to consent and say, yes, you can tear it down and that price is reasonable. That's a a fair enough reason to do something a little different on the enforcement, because frequently on these code enforcements, they're going to be disputed, or there's going to be an absentee owner. So you're always a little bit worried about being challenged at some point. If they're going to consent to this and say this is all reasonable, that's a reason to be more lenient on them with the collection.
But with that said, giving them 45 days to resolve it before it's liened should be construed as being lenient
It is.
when they've already agreed especially to pay it.
And normally you file your lien quickly.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, lien is going to show up to a title search. Lien's not going to show up over the courthouse in terms of on the ad valorem tax notice.
It'd be a title search
It's a
issue.
title search lien, that's right.
The ad valorem tax notice, that's the tax assessment that I was describing, probably will not make for this upcoming tax bill.
And they,
We're already
And
almost.
you do them both?
Absolutely.
That's what something
You usually
is.
file the lien for the tax search quickly, and then
That's what I thought.
the tax assessment is just based on the timing of the tax roll.
Time, yeah.
so if we just did a lien, they don't have to worry about it unless they're gonna sell the property, right?
Except that
They can pay the lien so that it doesn't get to the sales point.
Mario was saying they had some issue with their military credentials and they had a lien, but I don't know much about that. I received one email on it. That was their concern.
I think ideal to do both.
Okay, so we're gonna give them 45 days, I'm just throwing that out in the letter for them to, and they may come back with something they may offer something that or bring back and say, hey, here's what they said, we could consider that. But going in, I think we ought to give them X amount of time, and we're gonna lien the property. 45 days outside of Jerry.
That's exactly right.
Uh-huh.
And they'll
I
worry
thought
about
that
that.
15, you come up 15 would be good.
I mean, I just want something done.
I do too. I totally agree. I just think I want to give, that's, to me, that's adequate for $14,000 or $14,900 to come up with to see what happens. So, are we offering anything else?
It was that 45 days following the demolition.
Following demolition, that's right. Following demolition of the property. We good? Outside of Jerry? Okay.
Right.
All right. Jerry, you good?
I'm
Okay.
good.
All right, Warren, you good? I mean, you gotta, okay, I'll write it. All right, before we leave that, on special masters, do we have more, are there in the pipeline, are there more special master hearings, I guess, scheduled?
I would propose that we go after the one here on 20th and the beach.
I do too.
Go after the one on Miramar, go after the one on 98 right there by the canal. At least go after those three for right now. So the one on 37th Street is already a FEMA, and God's House is already FEMA.
All right, so Kathy, are you in do you have I guess is the documentation there to move forward to the special master hearing?
Yes, sir.
Then I suggest that we
Yes.
full speed ahead. I agree. Questions?
You right. You right. You right. Question.
What?
You good?
Yeah, I'm almost good, thank you.
I think you got good.
So you're paying attention.
All right, we're gonna move ahead with those that we've exhausted all, we've sat here and talked about them. I say let's go. See what happens. Maybe they'll show up. All right, moving ahead. Number 3. David, do you have presentation or want to explain what this is?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We, in the past, typically, we do a lot of work outside our traditional task orders for the city. And our accounting group is starting to basically come up where that number is starting to mound up. And we went back and looked, and since the late 2018, early 2019, we haven't had a general services task order with the city of Mexico Beach. So anytime something comes up, like we provided the dredge quantity numbers for Atkins when y'all were going through your FEMA discussions. Our scope of work for the dredge was specifically survey. We spent considerable time putting together the quantity numbers for Atkins to present to FEMA. Fire hydrants, I think we put together a bid package out without a task order. The boat ramp parking, I spent time with Jerry putting the plans together and stuff. It's just stuff like that that's outside of a task order that we can recoup some money. This is not to nickel and dime the city. I mean, if you call me up and ask me something, I'm not going to ding you for 15 minutes here. But if we got to spend a couple hours looking up code or doing a plan or something like that, it gives us an avenue where we can build time to it instead of having to put it as general overhead. And I mean, I've got several examples of time spent. If you want to hear them all,
Well,
Go ahead.
him being in a meeting, every meeting he's not making any money on that.
correct, right?
So, and he's here every meeting, so.
My only question, how is this documented? What?
Well, when we submit when there's time to be billed, I can put down a descriptor of what the time was spent on. Either if it's code research, looking up. When we put the Lime Rock down at the boat ramp parking lot, we had to go back to the original ERP from 2009 to see what was originally permitted. Spent, I don't know, several hours looking at that from our end. I know there's some questions about the Beacon Hill Sanitary several months ago. So I'll put down a descriptor of what actually the time is spent on, so we can track it. And this isn't where, we're going to exhaust this in next month. I mean, this might carry us for the next year. It all depends on how much, how many questions we get from the city for service.
I think you'll get less questions.
Yeah, so you get, and you'll just invoice us, and that invoice will have a description of what that invoice is for. That way we can categorize it, how we need to categorize it. Yeah, okay, great. But, I mean, I don't want anybody working for us and not getting paid for it.
Absolutely not. The documentation is where I'm trying to figure out how we
Well, we know how to code it.
how we sign off on it, did we approve it, did we, right. And those requests would come strictly from the city council.
Whoever you instruct, it could be Tommy, it could be Mario, it could be anyone from the council.
That's where I get, that's where I have, that's where I'm
Well,
working.
that's y'all's decision. I mean, if you tell me you don't, unless so-and-so calls me, don't do anything, then that's where we're at.
City council.
Well, if you're gonna have we've never had this. When you started your discussion, you're right, cities has never had this.
Well, my understanding, there was one at some point, it just expired. There was a not to exceed amount, I think that expired late 18, early 19. And I don't know how it was billed prior to that, during that time. But typically, in my past experience and work, that's how I do it, is, I'll clearly identify what the work was spent on, what time the work was spent on.
Okay. I just think that ought to be, if we're gonna have that we need to know who authorizes that expenditure, I guess. So, if it comes before us and administrator needs $10,000 worth of some kind of engineering thing, that's what, then just bring it to us. Or whatever, doesn't matter. Just so it's not done without our knowledge. Let's put it that way. Okay. Is there a motion to read Resolution 21-32 by title only?
Make a motion to read Resolution 2132 by title only.
Second.
Got a motion second. Please read, Kathy.
Resolution 2132. A resolution of the City of Mexico Beach, Florida, approving a task order with Dewberry Engineers Incorporated not to exceed $25,000 for general miscellaneous engineering services.
There a motion to adopt?
I make a motion, we approve resolution 2132.
Have a motion second. Any further discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mayor Kathy?
Yes.
Mr. Pollock?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Call?
Yes.
Mr. Key?
Yes.
Thank you. Moving on, number 4 is a, Mara, I think that one's something better. Somebody beside me.
Sure. There was 2 sewer lift stations that were placed in Beacon Hill, I'm assuming sometime in 2011 timeframe, because that's the oldest connection that I see here. When that was done, it has a capacity. That's one of the things that David brought up, that I did call them to find out what the capacity is of those lift stations and a 4-inch force main. In that, I'm assuming that the city made some arrangement with Beacon Hill in that line that additional people could tie into that line. When the tie into that line is as simple as just tapping into it because it runs past your property, it has just been approved little by little. At this point in time, I think there's 10 here, and there's probably 30 or so that were originally connected to the system, and it was for the Beacon Hill home and one of the little subdivisions that connects to it. The ones that have come to my attention are the ones that are on the lower section that say approval request pending. There was a particular contractor that made a connection on the south side. When that connection on the south side came up is when the flag got thrown. That connection request came in February of 2021. Dewberry got involved, not this office, but the office in Panama City. They helped them get a permit to cross the road. That permit basically says you're just doing 4 across the road. Within that, it asks the question, who's the responsible party for the utility? It says Mexico Beach, and we sign off on it. DOT is now requesting for a municipality, the municipality that is in charge of the utility, to be responsible for that line underneath their road. We already have these 10. We already have 3 of these that I'm asking approval for because they are installed. I'm asking for 4 of them that have not yet been installed but are asking to install. The issue is that there is sewer available, and if your house was demolished through Hurricane Michael and you're going to bring that house back up to running, you really don't have an option but to hook up to the sewer system. What we've requested the contractors to do is at least have a 1-year warranty for the work that is for the directional bore. Requested or required that our crew be invited to the installation and the testing so that we can accept the product. And then once that's done and the 1-year period is over, then DOT is basically requiring us to maintain that. Keep in mind, any subdivision that has been built within the city, the contractor builds that subdivision, that contractor builds the road, builds the water, builds the sewer. We accept that plat. Once we accept that plat, we're taking on the responsibility for the water and the sewer and all those things. So it's not dissimilar to what we do already within subdivisions. It's not dissimilar to what we do with a road crossing in Mexico Beach to the south side of the roadway. The only thing that makes this different is it's in Gulf County, and I didn't think it was proper for me to approve it because it incurs some liability for the city. So I'm here to ask on their behalf for approval for the list on the south side of the road, and assuming that you're okay with me just approving the ones on the north side of the road, which assumes no risk other than just making a connection.
Okay.
Okay, you said that they could be up to 30 more?
Oh, there could be up to 50, 60 more. Again, I don't know how many lots are on the south side of the road. The 50 or 60 could be used on the north side of the road. I mean, this is an open-ended question. This is not a here and we're done.
Yeah. Well, Gulf County can't take care of their own people.
They do not have sewer.
What are their neighbors doing?
The list on the top are some of those neighbors, and/or they had septic tank and drain fields because those were the rules when those homes were built. But now that there's sewer available, their real option on the south side of the road, I don't know that they could put a septic tank on those lots. I don't know if they're large enough.
What I'm saying, though, there's homes in between these addresses.
Certainly, but if they're already existing, they're already existing
Yes.
with either an existing drain field and septic tank, or they're already existing with a connection to the city system.
Which city? Mexico Beach?
Ours. We're the only ones that are providing sewer from Beacon Hill in this direction.
Prior to the hurricane, it was fairly common to get requests from this portion of Gulf County for service, and they would frequently come to the council and be approved.
Well, if we approve this, then how many more are there going to be? And can we handle it?
The capacity we can handle, because they wouldn't have designed the system that is there, the 2 lift stations, without having the capacity available. So capacity we're okay with.
And we're responsible for the lift stations.
Yeah, the
We
lift
already
station-
have problems with.
Yeah, again, the lift stations, Mexico Beach took that on 2011 sometime frame. They do in Gulf County pay 25% more for their sewer, and they pay 25% more for their connection.
And this goes to our enterprise fund, correct?
This goes specifically to sewer.
So this is a moneymaker for us, essentially. And we have insurance to
Net,
cover.
net neutral, not money maker.
Okay, but, so, well,
And insurance doesn't cover.
does the
road
25% makes it not net neutral, though, doesn't it?
Keep in mind that a utility is supposed to be net neutral, period. None of it is supposed to be a profit center.
Well, they pay an impact fee to hook it up.
Yes, sir. They pay 25% more for their impact fees, and they pay 25% more for their sewer. Because again, they are only sewer. We're not providing them water. There is city water available to them up there.
My little comment is, I'm like Miss Sharon, I rode around and looked at them. They sporadic. They not want to watch you. And I'm saying, well, why are we giving these? It's a new house, I might ask.
Yeah.
What's he doing? He didn't ask for water before or sewage before he built the house. And then you go two down and you look for these people. What are they doing between it? I think we got enough on us, and I know it might be making us or breaking even. But then stations we have enough trouble with it is. I think we to my opinion, I think the city has enough of a sewer system, and that's not in our town. It's in Gulf County. Bringing on more, I don't think that's what we need. I don't.
This goes all the way down to
Big
Big
deal.
Hill.
Yeah, I know it does. Or we could give it back to them.
I'd like to know what happens if we refuse to do it. You know, are they going to be allowed to put septic tanks in? And the thing about it is, if they've already got built, you know, a septic tank line takes a lot of space, and you can't build anything on top of it. So, you know, those are small lots as well. So, I'd like to know a little bit more about what our decision is going to impact of that. You know.
On the south side, there's no septic tank on the south side. I don't think it's enough room for anybody. I don't even think they could legally put a septic tank on the south side.
So what we're saying is, if we don't give them sewer, then they're stuck.
Well, unless Gulf County supplies it.
Well, they don't have a sewer system.
Don't you think they should have come ask us before they built the house?
Yeah.
Okay. But
It's just not an easy, it's not a cut and dry.
I'm not aware of denials on these requests in the western side of Gulf County, so that's something to consider. If they have septic tank options, then that's not a big deal, but if they're left in a scenario where they don't really have a way to have any sort of treatment, they're gonna get more agitated, and we may have set some level of precedent here unless there's something specific about these properties that would justify the denial. That may be a difficult
Well,
situation for us.
so what you're saying is the precedent that we set, we were benevolent, so to speak, in fact of laying them tile on based on where they were, and we just did it because we thought that was a good thing to do. And now we just say, well, now we don't think it's a good thing to do, we're not gonna let anybody else do it. That's not correct. That would be an issue.
I don't have all the details about how many connections there have been and what process was used for each time on the approval, but I think that there are many. I don't think any were denied.
Yeah.
Yes.
But again, like Ms. Sharon said, if there's 40 or 50 more houses come in there, and then what you said is they could make us put in bigger pipe, no pumping stations cost us more money.
No, they cannot require us to make anything bigger. All we're doing is granting them access to the existing system.
But if we keep getting people, well, then we would deny.
We would
And
deny
then
it.
we would deny.
We would deny it once we get to the
That's
house.
what I'm saying. I think we need to stop it now.
Maybe we would tell those owners to build it out themselves, and then they could connect onto our system to get treatment, pay all the fees.
If we don't want to do it, I think the proper way is to pick a date somewhere and say, so everybody down there knows that as of January 1st of 2023, City of Mexico Beach no longer. I think we have to give them, or I would want to say, here's the date, and whatever you gotta do, I'm like the rest of you, I don't know if you can put a septic tank or not. David's saying no, so their access to those lots, or to build on those lots, relies on our system. And if that be the case, then, I don't want to be a bad neighbor, but if the feeling of the council is that we don't need to expand outside of our service area anymore, then I think we just need to pick a date and say, okay.
Getting back to what I think you alluded to was, if we, or maybe it's Mario, if we did get more than we could handle, is there any way for us to charge them for putting that system in?
Again,
At that point?
the reason that I called David was to find out what the capacity was for the system. I would not propose to go anything beyond the capacity of the system.
How many?
We're only halfway into the capacity of the system.
So
When
You're saying the lift stations around Beacon Hill, the citywide capacity is very wide.
Correct. Again, I'm strictly talking about that system. The 4-inch line that feeds through that system has a capacity. David sent that to me in an email a month or two ago. If we have not hit that capacity, I would not propose to upgrade, do anything to that system for anyone above the capacity. I would also assume that we would want to have some factor of safety. Maybe the number that he gave me already had a factor of safety. I believe my recollection of what he said was there could be up to 100 connections on that system. Single-family home connections are the equivalent of. So like their little RV park that is inside of Beacon Hill that was done for FEMA, they connected to this system. Each one of those RV slips is only worth 1/3 of a residential unit. So they have 50 slips that equate to 50 divided by 3 units. So that's that capacity. The home has its capacity, and then individual homes have their capacity. I have a spreadsheet in the office that shows where we are on capacity, and we're a long ways from capacity. There are homes that have been connected on the north side of the road, which is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There have been 6 that have been connected since I've been here on the north side of the road. There are 3 that are just now making requests, and then there's the list below that of the ones that are on the south side. The south side, the biggest, again, on the north side, as long as we have capacity, it's kind of hard to say no because it's just a connection. On the south side, we're incurring some additional responsibility, which is why it's been brought to the council.
Okay, so it's because it's gravity flow on the north side.
No, it's because they've got to cross the road.
Okay. How many do you think it is?
And it's all grinder pump, because it's a force main, all those feeds are grinder pump feeds into the system.
Yeah, let me back up and clarify. Those two lift stations were put in for development at Beacon Hill. It was, I think it was called Integris. It was a rehab center of some sort. And then there were some apartments, or at one point it looked like RV lots that were going to go in. And those two you got two lift stations. One pumps, the eastern one pumps to the western one. The western one pumps 4 inches into Mexico Beach, ties in right there at, there's a manhole at 386, and the gravity feeds down from there. So what Mark's talking about is all the houses in line, or now that they're having to rebuild, the state won't allow you to do a septic tank any longer as long as you've got access to sanitary. So they have to put in their own grinder pump and tie it to that 4-inch line. So basically your capacity limitation is what can the 4-inch line hold in addition to the two lift stations that are already there. And we went through ran the numbers, and it was, I think, around 100 or so. So you're not taking on any more liability as far as an infrastructure. You're just getting more flow coming toward Mexico Beach, with the addition of having to go underneath the road and accept liability of the bore underneath the road.
Okay, I go back many years ago, and Al probably remembers this. We was worried about capacity years ago, of course, with the city was full and all that, and having to buy more capacity for us to go to Bay County. And I realized we're a lot less homes now, but we're looking at putting a lot more out there with St. Joe Company and all that. And I don't know where we're still under the obligation on the capacities and all that. It's been so long ago, I don't know.
We purchased capacity.
It's 2017.
Back to full stone.
Yeah.
Yeah, we foresaw that our capacity was marginal.
Yeah.
And of course, at 2817, y'all all recall, our little town, we were almost built out. I mean, we were pretty full. So we worked out a deal with the county, and we purchased capacity, and now we should be, I mean, we obviously, we agreed to the PUD, we agreed, I mean, there's a multitude of activities outside of just the rebuild of our city. And all of those numbers have shown that we have capacity to handle what we inside our city limits, excluding Gulf County. But we're okay capacity wise. So, like David said, the real, I mean, how much? Remember, we all have bigger lines, so that little 4-inch line that's down there is whatever that capacity is. That then we can't help it. As long as that line that has capacity, and we're getting the 25% more, and that helps offset what it costs to treat that as it goes through our system and on the Tyndall. I mean, I'm okay if as long as we're engineered and we're checking our numbers. I don't see that we're not hurting our citizens. We are hurting in town. We're not restricting anything from people building. But I'm also okay if we think it would be advisable to stop our out of service area service and just put a date on it and say, just notify them and say, hey, Gulf County, we're not going to do that anymore. That's someday. Right now, I'm okay. I don't see. I'm not in favor of doing that, but I'm just saying that would be the way to do it.
David, one more question. The 100, if we, let's say we put those 100 on, that doesn't affect what we've got here.
No, because it
So
goes.
that won't take any of our capacity out. Okay, just.
Well, I mean, there's 100 extra houses of flow going into whichever lift station eventually in MX1, but it's minimal what you guys got set up for right now.
Okay, so it's not going to keep us from developing further.
Yeah.
All right. Just
It should already be taken into account within our maximum flows.
Okay. Okay.
All right, so, is there a motion to read resolution 2131? That's what's on our agenda, by title only, and it offers to approving those properties that are so listed.
So are we going to have a discussion after we read by title only again?
Sure.
Okay.
We'll have a discussion before we approve it.
Yeah, okay, I make a motion to read resolution 2133 by title only.
Okay, we have a motion, is there a second?
So,
We have a motion and a second to read, would you please read?
Resolution 2133, a resolution of the City of Mexico Beach, Florida, approving utility service outside the city limits in Gulf County to 8935 Highway 98, 8891 Highway 98, 9125 Highway 98, 8695 Highway 98, 8825 Highway 98, 9113 Highway 98, 9311 Highway 98, and 9045 Highway 98.
Thank you. Okay. Further discussion or motion to approve?
I'd like to, if we, I mean, these folks are willing to do what the service station is not willing to do. They're not willing to pay for anything.
Well, it's the same thing.
Please, this is completely different
I
because they're
understand,
taking out
but-
an accent.
I understand, but
they're not going to state anything else, it'll be what the service station wants to do.
But were they willing to pay for the connections and all
They have
that?
to.
Yes.
Well,
They
it's
would
not
have to,
on
yes.
us.
Okay,
Yeah,
so,
they pay for everything.
so there's no comparison there with it being what they're talking about. You know, I'm not a sewer guy, I know Jerry is, so.
Water,
Water, well, I mean, you know a lot more about pumps and all the other things.
it's very expensive,
I just have I don't know how we can say no. They don't have any choice. And whether or not they paid attention when they built their house and asked for it prior or not, you know, it seems to me that we're gonna put them in a really bad situation when we have the ability to help them. I'm just saying.
Does the city pay for the bore under Highway 98?
No, ma'am. The owner pays for the bore, pays for the connection, pays for the plumbing, and pays for a 1-year warranty.
the 1 year warranty is what you need, that's the key factor there, just 1 year. If you add that line breaks up under 98,
Yeah.
it's very expensive to fix. Especially with sewer line. That's the key here, sewer. You spill sewage, and they can explain to you a lot better than I can what goes into the fix. And I think, in my opinion, I like Al's idea about giving them, I'm not, Darryl too, I can see they jumped ahead of what they were doing, and I know this is what they usually do, but they built the houses and now they're asking us for sewage. But they've got past before. But our idea, let's give them a date to cut them off would be, that's my way I would like to do it. And I think we've got enough on our own to keep our sewer people from beaking hell. I believe we have enough on our own. And I'm like Darryl, I mean, they got the houses built. It's sort of hard not to give them sewer, but I think we need to cut them off. I do. And these pumps and these, we're always having trouble with these pumps. It's expensive. It's expensive. And I know we've got in the enterprise fund, but I'm not for it anyway, but if we're gonna do it, I'd rather And I just want
Put a
to,
deadline.
just put a deadline. That's all I'm gonna say.
Well, I agree with the deadline.
I do too.
Of course, what they doing with us is a better setup than what they got. If they got it from Gulf County, because Gulf County, I think every house has to have its own pump system to pump out. We're here, we're just going to one main pump system. I don't know why the county can't take care of people, but I would go along with this as long as we put a deadline of when we can do it, because there's no telling how many people, other people would rather have a straight line instead of having a pump system.
Right.
I agree with that.
My suggestion is we handle this topic in our city code. Let Mario and I know the date you want, and we'll add it into the city code where everybody can see it and it's published well, and they don't have to have heard about a decision that was made informally at a council meeting. It'll be in the real city code. We'll just put it there. That'll help a lot on my concern about, well, why are we not approving these when we approved so many in the past? If we give people sufficient notice, I don't think that's going to be a problem.
How many days do you recommend?
The mayor's suggestion was good. That was the beginning of 2023. You could do a year
6
from the date
months.
we adopt.
I agree, I have to.
Well, I'm saying if we do it,
Yeah, I know.
I'm not for doing that, but I'm okay with what we're doing and the way we've been doing it, but that's here or there. I think we ought to handle this and then circle back to how we want to move, what we want to do moving forward. So we had a motion to read, which we did. We can entertain additional, but I'm trying to just deal with the topic that's on the agenda for those addresses. Is there a motion to approve that resolution?
Yeah, I make a motion to approve the resolution 2133.
Okay, we have a motion to approve resolution 2133. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Call the roll, please.
Mayor Kathy?
Yes.
Mr. Pollak?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
No.
Ms. Call?
No.
Mr. Keith?
Yes.
Okay. Now, on this topic, before we leave it, before it spurs a different discussion, Mario, if I'm reading your little attachment there, this covers everything that's in the hopper that we are aware of today.
The only thing I was being specific to was on the south side of the road. Keep in mind, the way that the code is written, I currently have the authority to grant connection as long as they don't exceed the capacity. So on the north side of the road, again, look at that list, and I've already approved 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 on the north side of the road.
Okay.
So those are already approved.
Those are there.
Those were there. I just want to make sure y'all are okay, because there was an awful lot of discussion of not allowing anybody to connect to anything.
No, all of these addresses are south 98, and that came about just because you have to bore over the road.
And DOT had
The
to.
DOT put us, okay. So, if we want to discuss out of service area for sewer in Gulf County, do you just want to make an agenda item out of that? And which would be really the best way to do it? And we'll put it on the, next agenda.
Take it out of my approval.
Yeah.
Put it strictly on council approval for all future connections. Everything that's in today on this
Why don't
sheet.
we'll just make an agenda item,
Yeah.
and everybody will have but it'll deal with out of service sewer. Okay. Julie, you got that?
Got it, sir.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Turner, you got anything for us?
I do not.
All right. Marlon, what you got?
I'm going to go through the work list that was produced for the last meeting. On Sunset Park, we talked about FDEP permit. It's the only holdup that we have. We have released that contract, so I'll get with Bonovic to get him rolling. I've already notified the architects and engineers we need to have signed and sealed drawings so that we can get that reviewed by building department. She acknowledged that she's going to receive that. Item number 2 is canal dredge. The canal dredge was approved by EHP this week, which means that it went to the state for their approval, and it means that it goes to the Senate for their large-scale plan to move forward, because that's a $5-6 million project. So it's made the next step. The Senate review typically takes 30 days, so we're eminently close on the next level of dredging. The pier, they did send an obligation offer to the city to the tune of $7 million, which is pretty close to what we had budgeted. The budget isn't the biggest concern for us, it's the scope of work. We're solidifying the scope of work right now because their offer to us did not say 26 feet high, their offer to us did not say 14 feet wide, their offer did not say concrete. So we've asked them for clarification on 26, 14, and concrete. They are working on that. Once they get that scope of work, staff will approve that to move forward, but then we'll switch it to a standard lane project. And that's very key, is once it goes to standard lane project, then it costs what it costs based on us getting bids. It will be designed to be, for all intents and purposes, exactly the same as the pier in Jacksonville, Pensacola, Panama City, and Bay County. So it will follow us. The police and fire station, I believe we have got all the information from the architects and engineers. It's Adkins that's putting together a package to send over to FEMA, so we have that. Tommy mentioned the street sign, so we've covered that. Resurfacing on Oleander, my understanding was they were supposed to be up like right now.
Yeah, I spoke to Jason White on the way over today. He's having a hard time with staffing and getting asphalt from the plant, so he's trying to get there as fast as he can, as he told me.
Okay. I did talk to Jason also about the debris that's at the end of Oleander on the north side, and he did say that it was his, and he would get out there and pull it out as soon as he was out there working. The credit card machine,
we should be able to advertise that in the next day or two.
I released Dewberry to do the survey on the boat ramp parking, the additional 3 acres that St. Joe has dedicated. On stormwater, I have some drawings that if y'all would like to come to the conference room and look at what our most complex stormwater issues are between 15th Street and Maryland, 8th Street, and the easternmost edge of town. That system is compromised mainly because there used to be a canal system that ran through town that went from northeast to southwest, and as the homes and lots were purchased, it circumvented that system, which has made it complex. If there's one thing that we can focus on, and Dewberry would have to take on that task, is my understanding is a fair amount of the pipes that were put in those lots that decided to reroute the canal system, they were all undersized, and they're not maintained, and they're not designed properly, and so a majority of the stormwater problems that we have in that area are based on historical problems. Boat ramp expansion, I received a revised set of drawings from David this morning. DEP requires the dock to now be 5 feet wide as opposed to 4 feet wide. We made that revision. I'm assuming council is okay with that. We will submit those drawings for permit, and then at the same time, we will probably put those out to bid to get bids on it. And then once we get that bid, then we'll go after the same organization that gave us the money to design it to build it. So we're trying to do all that through grants. The street paving, I met with the contractor yesterday. He gave me a revised scope of work that equals $1.5 million. I'm going to sit down with Nick sometime later today to see if we can pull the trigger on that. He was asking for a couple of things. One is, once he comes over here, he's going to have a fair amount of equipment. Needed a place to stage his equipment. I suggested on the 100-foot wide by 100-foot wide lot that we have on 37th Street that is cleared. He can set up his equipment there. And then when he does his milling, to locate his milling at the easternmost end of the parking lot where the boat ramp is. Again, all that work should start September, October. It shouldn't be fishing season, so it shouldn't interrupt a whole lot. And then that extra work there will further compact that land, and any millings that are left will only augment the work that we have there. And that is it, other than in the last month. So from the beginning of July to date, we received $4.9 million from the state and FEMA. Most of that money is the money that was the match for the city's contribution for most of these FEMA projects. The good thing about that $4.9 million is most of that money has been spent and paid for by the city. So that money renourishes our coffers, and that is extremely important for our future projects. Keep in mind, if we are running strictly off our lean $4 million budget, we couldn't make a payment, because with the city pier, with Sunset Park, both of those projects are projects where we have to pay and then wait a month or two before we get reimbursed. So without $4.9 million out there to stay ahead of the reimbursement side, the city could not go after those projects as standard lane. So that money coming in at this point in time has been very helpful. That is it for me there. Oh, I'm sorry. One of the other things that I've been working on in conjunction with the stormwater is the 85 acres that the St. Joe Company owns on the eastern end of town. An appraisal came in June 22nd. The appraisal came in at $60,000 for 85 acres. We are currently going after grants to pay for that. Those grants could take who knows how much time. Property values can change in time. If council seems that it's a prudent idea, I would propose that we purchase the $60,000 lot that's going to give us 85 acres and help us at least have an 85-acre parcel that we can push stormwater to if we can design it, in that direction, and also keep that stormwater from flowing into the city. So it's a two-part system. We'd have to create a levee around it and then find a way to get the water into the system. So that's the 85-acre parcel. The other opportunity that has come before me in the last 2 weeks was Duke Energy has just completed a solar panel project for Cape San Blas. They've installed it close to the park. They showed me an aerial of it. It's basically a battery pack out there. It helps them because they don't have to increase the size of the conductor out there to the Cape. So them having that battery backup system allows them during the peak of July not to have to pump more power that way. They can just pull the power from that location this way. So that was strictly a battery backup system. What they're proposing to the city of Mexico Beach is to do a solar power mini farm that would power the future law enforcement, fire department, and civic center. So their proposal would be to put solar panels over top of the parking lots on those two buildings that would then generate power, feed our system, so we would actually be operating off of solar power. And then any surplus power, it would go onto a battery system that then gives us a battery backup to operate at night, and also operate if we lost power, that we would have not only a battery system but a solar system. Their only request from us is to agree to allow them to be on our land. No cost to us. It is no cost break to us. We are getting a belt and a suspender and a couple extra pins. Keep in mind, they do not suggest that we count on them strictly. Again, these buildings, because they are primary buildings for life safety, are able to have generators, and we are currently drawing these buildings to have generators. So this would be, the building would have power. That's the belt. The suspenders is, we've got generators. And now we're putting pins on it by utilizing this and also good steward to the environment. So those are the couple of things that go on.
As far as the land purchase, what do we need to do?
If y'all think it's a good idea, give me a head nod of enough people and I'll make contact with St. Joe and ask to make that land purchase.
Is that the property right on 386? That's up to 386?
Yes, 85 acres on 386.
Okay.
It pretty much, it is the only thing on this side of 386 that's not inside the city limits.
Yes.
Maryland, La Siesta, all that.
I know exactly what you're talking about, yeah.
Well, you got my head nod.
Well, you've been here a long time, Bobby, and others have been here a long time. I talked to, I can't remember, Bud Martin, and he said, whether it's him or, no, it wasn't him, I was talking to him and 3 or 4 of the guys, they said they used to dump stuff there. You remember them dumping? There was a hole there and they dump stuff?
It has some level of dumping associated with it. And as a municipality, it would actually give us some opportunities for some grants to go in there. Again,
To do cleanup.
our
We need to do
proposal,
cleanup.
our proposal would be to go after the cleanup, and when we do the cleanup, that void that we create becomes a stormwater pond.
It's where the bears used to play.
Well, they still do. They come to my house a lot.
Okay. I used to watch it.
Okay, so as long as we understand that there was a possibility of dump and the implications that comes with cleaning that up.
You're not asking for approval to make a purchase. You're asking for approval to go negotiate.
Yeah, I would have to bring you back something to spend $60,000, but if you don't want me to go that route, then
Two things. Henceforth, would you make that list part of our packet?
Yes, I didn't get it.
So make that list,
Of the
that
project
project list
project
part
list.
of our packet.
I thought I put my part on there too, Mario.
Palms Park, I know that David received some funds to go after that, so we just now got funds to start going after that.
I think we need to list that way we can.
Yeah, if we might, if there's others, when we have that whole purpose of that is that for us to, when you add something to, it can be taken off when it's completed, just, our little town's got a lot of balls in there, and it's a good way to look at it. Okay, so, on the 85 acres, it's part of the drain, stormwater. I don't think the land will have any value to us except for that. I don't think it has, if something were to fall through, I don't think the city would own anything that has material value to it in terms of development or using it for something. It is terribly low.
I might add one more thing. NIFWIF, we have received a grant to the tune of $300 and something thousand to go into that parcel and cull out the invasive species, which is the planted pine and popcorn and things like that, and revegetate that. So that's a cleanup type grant, so we've been given that opportunity there. And if we did that, the larger scale project of that 85 acres is to actually create a nature trail around that pond, and it would become an amenity to the city. So it's not strictly stormwater. We would, big picture is to amenitize that area.
Well, for 60,000, that's, I think we can't probably pass that by, regardless of, that leads to, in the big 8th Street Canal, getting that flow, that's still down the road, but this is a step in the right direction. Us having ownership of that is certainly a positive step. know, we didn't know that the storm, and I'm saying this because soon after we finish here, we're gonna talk about the budget. But the storm has created opportunities or things that we need to have that you can't budget for because you just didn't know. So I'm for trying to find a way to purchase the property and to approach St. Joe about getting some documentation and blah, blah. I'm for doing that.
I am.
We do.
Okay? Let's move forward and see what they come up with.
Okay. On the solar power, how do y'all feel about solar power in the municipality?
Repeat, I was thinking about that too. Say that again about where that would go, where would the solar power bank should be placed?
Their proposal would be to put solar panels over top of our parking. So that they would basically create covered parking for us. Or they could put it out
over
top of the parking. Or they could put it someplace else on our property. They're just looking for a place where there's enough real estate for them to put solar panels. And then a place where there's enough real estate to put the battery containment system. The battery containment system is going to be probably 2 or 3 shipping containers that have controllers that bypass the switches and do all those fancy things. And they have to be separated from most anything because lithium batteries are flammable. So that, again, keep in mind we have 25 acres that we're talking about over there, so there is a pocket someplace that we can make that work.
I'm all for that.
Me too.
Okay, they'll be responsible for the panels and all that kind of stuff.
They are responsible for design, install, maintenance. We don't do anything other than receive power. We don't get any cost breaks from our regular power. We're still paying for power just like we pay for power today. The only thing that we have is we have an extra level of security. That's it.
Did you say we had to build buildings or they built the buildings to put them on top of it? I didn't.
It's just an awning. It's essentially a fancy awning.
That we can park on.
Yeah, I was in the solar business for a while.
You didn't say anything.
You can actually, we used to put in the field, we would put them on movable stands, and that way you could change them 3 times a year
So,
for the sun angle and increase the efficiency. But solar panels do they do lose their efficiency, but it takes quite a while for that to happen. They're better than they were then, I'm sure.
Are we for giving them permission to proceed with that design?
I am.
Yeah, I just, what they're doing is they're building a power station on our property for their benefit, really. So it generates them, and they don't have to use the power that they've already generated from other solar source.
Yeah.
I wish they would give a little bit of discount to it or something, but
I like that.
see if they would.
I didn't think it looked that way. I thought you had a shelter.
Give a little shade.
That way I city employees can park up under it, and the radios go off and on.
That's kind enough to look at this.
Let's move on.
So we're good with that?
Yeah, I don't know. I think we'll move on. Are we good with that? We're good with that? Okay, all right, yeah, we're good with that. What else you got?
That's it for me, sir.
All right, council comments? Anybody?
I got one. Oh, again, it won't take. This is for good. Last week, they had a jet ski broke down and ended up at Cape San Blas. And Hector, along with our sheriff's department, arranged to go get the jet ski. Hector took his trailer, picked the jet ski up over there, and I think that's good for our community, all over the town. When we, and Hector don't know, I didn't know anything about it. Plus, last night, some man dropped his billfold there in front of 7th 8th Street with $400 in it. Hector come by, picked it up, and got it back, along with our sheriff's department, got it back to the man. That's the little things means a lot out of the town.
Yeah.
And I just want
Good shout.
good shout out to Hector, look, and to what he done, especially he didn't know them people, and he drove the jet skis and furniture trailer to go get it, so little things like that make our town really, really good, and I want to thank Hector. I really do. That's all I have.
Any other comments? Motion for adjournment?
So moved.
All right. Think about